Welcome Libra to your January 2020 reading. Guys, Happy New Year and welcome back to anyone who's already following my readings. Guys, thank you so much for your likes, your shares, your comments. Not only I want to say thank you so much for your support of me, but your support of one another. This has truly become and is evolving into an ever-growing community, a community of spiritual warriors. I mean, guys, the pathways you are walking are, you blow me away. So thank you so much and huge respect. I do read the comments. I can't reply to all, but I reply to as many as I can. But really, guys, you are just awesome. Anyone new to the channel, I'm Jenny Florence. I post readings monthly and also weekly for guidance and direction, usually on a Sunday. And yeah, I put a lot of free resources into the world. I draw out of a hat the name of one of my subscribers every month to give a free private reading. So do just keep a lookout for announcements, and also check out information in the box below. Everything is listed there, including actually a page now on the website which lists every pack of cards I ever use, and the runes. I use runes as well. That way you can locate anything. If you find cards are speaking to you and you want to get them for yourselves, they're easy to find then. So guys, January 2020, really powerful month. Saturn and Pluto, who have been dominating the astrological scene. You know, we're seeing a lot of chaos, a lot of things being restructured, broken down, called into question. That's the kind of energy, and it's affecting things globally, nationally, within our communities, within our families, within ourselves as well. So very powerful times. The 7th of January, they come together. They've been building up to this sort of edging closer and closer together. January is the month, the 7th, followed by, on the 10th of January, the full moon lunar eclipse in Cancer. Guys, we're in eclipse season. Eclipse season, around the time of the eclipses, it's like a portal of energy where things can happen very quickly. We have access to information in a different kind of way. It's more accessible, but that can also, it can bring us downloads of illumination. It can also sometimes knock us off our feet or take us by surprise. So very useful to be aware of the incoming energy, and we'll be connecting into that as we do this reading. And guys, I will I'm just going to put my diary away. Each month I will use this as a rundown for the astrology. That's actually why I wrote it. It's why I put it together. Now, the guardian angel this month for you guys, African bloodstone, heightens intuition, and at the same time it's grounding, it's protecting. Now it kind of draws off any kind of electromagnetic energy, so it helps us to handle the world as we walk through it. I always see this as an angel that supports manifestation and our journey of manifestation, because it connects us to, as I said, heightened intuition, our availability for downloads and connections to a greater universal intelligence, but at the same time it's grounded, it protects, it connects us to the base chakra, the space where we kind of make our dreams real. We take steps to initiate manifestation. It's also ruled by the planet of Mars, the warrior planet. I always think the spiritual warrior planet. So pretty powerful, dynamic little figure here. And I was also drawn to this rose quartz heart, pure love, unconditional love, the love that is available to us if we can slow ourselves down and spiritually connect in with the support and guidance that is there for us. Sometimes it's hard for us to be able to do that. It's kind of a human thing, I think, really. So let's draw our runes first. It's interesting, we have two. So this was the first that was coming to me, the rune of harvest, wonderful. And we have the rune of gateway. It's pretty powerful for a January reading with so much going on astrologically. Now, the rune of harvest speaks of the natural cycles of time. and it often refers to a period of a year. It's about growth, it's about fertility, it's about new beginnings, but it also offers itself as a kind of acknowledgement that it's like Rome wasn't built in a day. It's steady, consistent progress. We need to nurture our ideas, our dreams. Feels for me as if this is going to be a reading that connects very much into manifestation. So it's curious. We then have the rune of Gateway. Now, Gateway, I think, is a very valuable rune in terms of manifestation, because it requests that it's like we take a review. It speaks of climbing to the top of a mountain and sitting and resting and reflecting and looking back over every aspect of our journey, everything that has led us to where we are today. And for me, this rune also speaks of the need to sit in a space of reverence and appreciation, because it's within that space, that energetic space, where we can kind of almost thank the challenging experiences as well, because they have contributed to making us the people we are today. It's part of what allows us to be able to remember our past, but not dwell in it, not bring it with us into the present so that we're still living through that lens. That's the kind of differentiation. So this rune asks us to sit in that space of reflection with reverence, with appreciation of who we are right now, who you are right now, and then step through the gateway for an entire new phase of living. Very powerful runes to be drawing for effectively what amounts to a new year reading, the beginning of a new cycle. 2 again. We have the rune of possessions, nourishment from the worldly to the divine. And we have the rune of strength, terminations, new beginnings. I'm hearing we'll be drawing, could be 1, could be 2. They seem to be coming out in pairs for this reading. Yeah. Yes, they are. We have the rune of flow, wonderful, and the rune of initiation. I think that's where we are for now. The rune of flow, the way in which we evolve, we flow into the next phase of our growth, of our development, of our life. Wonderful energy, because it suggests that January is a year of, it means that things are moving of their own accord. Sometimes we feel as though we have obstacles that we have to face in life. I mean, we all have obstacles. It's sort of part of our growth, I think, as a soul. It's the soul's, I'm always interested in seeing ourselves as souls on a growth of evolution, a growth of consciousness through the human experience. So if we think about this as the energy here of harvest, a new cycle is beginning. There's a promise of fertility, the promise of outcomes, but we're talking about the cycle of a year. The need to reflect and it's not about putting something down, it's about laying it to rest, so that we are free energetically to move forwards. This is a month of nurture. Sometimes this rune of possession speaks of unexpected rewards and gains. That could be energetic, it could be insights, it could be intuition, signals, signs that come to you, synchronicities, terminations, new beginnings. But the energy is flowing. There is a lovely, I want to say there's a movement of energy that I can feel through the runes here, and it feels strong and consistent. It's like perseverance, but not perseverance with difficulty. You know how sometimes you drive somewhere and the lights just change to green? Even though, and it doesn't mean there's no traffic or that you're not moving forwards fast, but everything keeps going. Even if you're not moving forwards at speed, the traffic is steady and it all seems to be flowing. That's the flavour of this. It doesn't feel like a rush or a burst of energy, but it feels like it's moving forwards. The rune of initiation, a rite of passage, the movement from one space or one level of consciousness to another. I'm going to say, guys, really take advantage of the energy around the, I'm going to say probably from around the 5th of January right through till maybe the kind of 12th, 13th, 14th. Just that pivotal energy when astrologically Saturn and Pluto come together, and we have this phenomenal new moon, it's a full moon eclipse, but it's in Cancer, so it's about nourishment. Yeah, so we can really, again, connect into downloads of really good information. If you are seeking insights, if you're needing clarity, that would be a very good time to be really giving yourselves full availability for reflection and meditation. For those of you that journal, really good time to be journaling. So guys, we are going to draw from one of my oldest, it is the oldest tarot pack that I have, much used. Wonderful. We have the Empress, card of harvest, a card of gestation, a card of nurture, a card of, again, the promise of something. A card has leapt out, bear with me. Okay, this is an interesting energy. King of Wands coming in here. I don't think this is your energy, guys. I think this is someone coming in. I may be wrong. I feel as though you guys have been gestating, as it were. If we think of the Empress as a card of motherhood, it's a card of, a bit like a pregnancy. We nurture something inside of us, and it's as though this is almost, you're coming to the end of a phase of nurture, of gestation. You've been processing stuff. To be honest, every Libra I know has been almost like put in a position where you guys have had to nurture. You've been forced to understand what self-care truly means and why it is necessary. That's all the Librans I know. Aspects of that in my own world, because I have Libra rising. So there's been big life lessons going on for really quite a long time. And some of them have been pretty tough and pretty harsh. That feels as though it's coming to an end. There's a completion. This energy is interesting. This is either you guys start to fundamentally see the rewards and the results of your hard work, or someone comes into your world who is a part of that. They come in. For those of you, any of you guys that are single and looking for a relationship, I'd say there's an energy of someone coming in who is, they know who they are. They're steady, they're solid, but they're fiery, they're passionate at the same time. They've made something of themselves. This is quite a creative individual. So this could be your own creativity coming forth. It could be that you've come through, to my mind, Librans, guys, the energy around you for a long time, you've been firefighting by necessity. And it's brought some big life learning curves in. But it's at the same time, it's as though you've barely come up for air before you've had to deal with the next thing. I think that phase is over. It's like everything that you have been working at is starting to come to fruition, and it creates a whole new cycle. But in a way, it's like a cycle where there is space to start to manifest. Rather than firefighting, so you're fighting off the things you don't want. We learn what we do want from the things we don't want to. That contrasting experience is helpful to us. But it's like you start to ground it. This is the energy of this beautiful angel. It's like you have the insight, you have the awareness, and you start to ground it. For some of you, if you are looking for a relationship, I think you connect in with someone. They know who they are. They're creative, they've invested in themselves. And so it's kind of like if we think about relationships on the basis of the law of attraction, until you can invest in yourself, you will not attract someone who is also able to invest in yourself as well as themselves in an equal way. I feel like you turn a corner here in January. Something shifts, this initiation, this rite of passage into a new phase, and you are flowing into being. The energy is with you. You do have to let something go. You do have to leave something behind. That's actually the language that's coming to me. It's not letting something go, you leave something behind. There's a difference. It might seem like a subtle difference, but there is a difference. You're leaving something behind. And you're leaving it behind by choice, whether it's a way of being or an attitude, or for some of you it will actually be a something. It could be a job, a career, a position, a house, whatever it is. You're leaving a phase of life behind and you are moving into the new. And I'm going to say much deserved, but yes, you are leaving something behind and it's by choice. It's not something that's being forced on you, which is magical. Okay, we have the devil, wonderful. You don't have to be tied to things, guys. This is a time to embrace your own freedom and your own liberation in terms of your capacity to choose, your right and entitlement to choose. Cut cords. In this card, we have the figure of the devil, who kind of embodies almost all the things about ourselves that we're often brought up to believe we shouldn't have, or that we shouldn't be allowed. You know, all kinds of aspects of ourselves that it's the shoulds and the shouldn'ts and the compliances to structures, to systems that don't really work for us, but we comply because we feel we ought to. And, you know, it connects to our sense of belonging in the kind of world that we grow up in. It's time to shed those. The two figures that are attached to him, it looks as though they're on leads, they're on leashes. Actually, they're not, and they can unhook them and walk away and be themselves at any time. They dance the dance because they choose to. It's actually a card of choice. Ownership of your choices here is coming through very loud and clear. And here we have Knight of Wands, we have King of Wands, we have Knight of Wands. New passion, new energy, new vitality. I am going to say this has an edge of relationship around it for those of you that are looking for love or a soulmate connection, or for some of you it will be about refinding passion and energy in your own life. You know, you've been firefighting for a long time and that leaves us exhausted. You know, when we're always coming up for air, and it's really, really hard to make time to truly look after ourselves. But guys, I'm going to say there's an injection of energy coming in here. And it could, for some of you, come in the shape or form of a relationship. And it will be a relationship that you guys have manifested through doing the inner work. For some of you, again, if you've been firefighting and you're in an existing relationship, that passion is rekindled. There's time. Time to be able to actually invest in yourselves. Again, possessions, nourishment from the worldly to the divine. I think you guys gain clarity. That's what I'm also hearing. Back to this aspect of choice. We'll draw from a different tarot pack now as well to gain some additional guidance here. Wonderful. We have the card of success and we have the card of the priestess. Yeah, I do think you connect into higher levels of guidance. The priestess in this particular pack speaks of heightened intuition. You know, being able to connect that which is above to that which is below. It is the worldly to the divine. It's being able to receive insights and illuminations and then take actions that allow you to put that knowledge, that illumination, that awareness into practice. We have the card of success as well. You're coming through something And out the other side, you get the opportunity as well this month to evaluate and really think about what matters to you, what you really want, what you're seeking. And as I said, you get to leave some things behind. Wonderful. The Magus. Now this card in some of the other tarot packs is the Magician. In this particular pack, there are several cards for this position. One is called the Magician and several others are called the Magus. There's actually 4 altogether in my pack. I don't know what it is in the current pack. So this is actually a very old pack. It's a first edition. It was gifted to me. I mean, wow. You have to just give thanks, don't you, for the wonderful gifts that people bring to our lives and give to us sometimes. Well, in every possible way. The Magus speaks of communication. It's really interesting. It says that you have exceptional powers of communication and it asks you to use them wisely. Do you know, for some of you, I feel as though you are even going to be potentially called to have a voice. That's part of the initiation, I think, here. In the past, you've been bound by, again, it's the restrictions, the shoulds and shouldn'ts that you grew up with that left you, I think, in a very overgiving, sort of selfless place. You know, when we talk about being selfless, if you think about the language of it, selfless, it's like we're not allowed to be a full self. We're not entitled. It carries very powerful messages. And many, many of us were brought up at a time when it was almost like selfless was considered to be the spiritual pathway. Selfless was considered to be honourable, decent, the right way. And I really need to challenge that perspective. Selfless, you know, actually to be a whole, complete person, you know, where we take an ownership of our own needs, that's to do with self-responsibility. You know, self-responsibility is our ability to be responsive to ourselves, to own our own needs. If we own our own needs, we don't project them onto others. It's a position of empowerment. We look after ourselves. We have an abundance to give to others. There's something about understanding, you guys really coming to a space of understanding of how this really works in real terms. And you're starting, therefore, to make decisions, choices, evaluate things from a position of genuine. I feel like there's a genuine space of empowerment. There's room. There's a shift. You've worked to be here. You're letting go of or leaving behind a phase of life that doesn't work for you. And there's this new injection of energy. It could come in the guise of a person, or it could be simply time and internal resources and energy. So you start to be able to step towards a life of thriving rather than a life of surviving. Wow, cards leaping out. Okay, the Lovers. Now this reinforces for me there is a relationship attunement in this reading. The Lovers in this pack speaks of relationships of higher levels of consciousness. So it's relationships of equality. It's relationships based on awareness. So if you're in a relationship, I think it ups its game. And I think it graduates to a relationship of greater equality, greater presence. It starts to really work for you. And because you've done the work, you've put down the boundaries, I think for those of you looking for love, you are starting to and potentially could well draw in someone into your world. They're of the world. Again, they know themselves. And it's because they know themselves. Because you know yourself, you can attract someone who knows themselves. And you sit in a space of, it's a relationship with a certain level of consciousness around it. This also can suggest in all aspects of your world that you're able to, I'm going to say, you know, we are relational beings. Every aspect of our world is about relationship. We go to work, we connect with other people. Even if you work at home, the services you provide, whatever we do, it somehow connects with others. So there's something of a real elevation and appreciation that comes into your relationships, and of you being you and knowing that it's okay, or there's this shift that occurs this month. you get to really understand that it's okay to be you. There's a sense of entitlement here that's lovely. I'm going to draw from the Moonology cards next. Wow, literally throwing itself onto the table. It says, a fiery climax approaches and nothing is yet set in stone. Okay, so initiation. We're coming through something. You are flowing into this new space of being. This is the fire, the passion that's coming in, the vitality, the injection of life again. But you are leaving something behind. So a fiery climax approaches. For some of you guys, it may genuinely be that it's this last phase of growth in terms of you being you and knowing you have an entitlement to be yourself. I think for some of you, something comes to a head. The overall energy, though, it's really interesting. The overall energy feels like it is flowing. So I would say that even if for some of you it feels as though things hot up a bit, this is part of the heating up here. It's caused, I think, and I'm hearing quite a clear message, it's like a tension between you knowing that you have an entitlement and needing to genuinely step up and put that into action, to say no, for example, to make your choices and know that you have an entitlement to make those choices. It's almost like you're on the brink, this in-betweeny initiation phase. You've done the work, you know it's right, but it's unfamiliar to you. That's what I'm going to say. It's unfamiliar to you to stand your ground, to say no. And it's almost like a testing of the waters, but there's a success here. And you start to tune into a greater universal guidance. Your intuition, your gut feeling tells you. And it means you, literally, it's this source of greater empowerment through awareness. Nothing is yet set in stone. This is a month of transition. But it's a month of transition where the process of your evolution, I think it does come to a head. And in that respect, you then begin to be in a space where you can genuinely think about what you wish to manifest, what you wish to bring forth into the world in terms of your desires. As I said, I think there's like an injection of energy that will either come through your own resources, your own energy levels, your own insights, or it will come through the boosting of a relationship or the introduction of a new one. It may even be a business opportunity, someone coming in with or an idea or something that really fires you up. So I'm going to draw from the Art of Manifestation cards next. And I am also going to take this card. This is interesting. Your commitment is being tested. It just showed itself, so we'll place that here. I'm going to say, guys, I think that commitment is to yourself. This is the review as well, the evaluation. Okay, mistakes. This is interesting. If you feel you have made a mistake, or indeed someone else has done so with impact on you, please do not feel bad about this. Treasure and value your mistakes and those of others around you. They are the cutting edge of our personal growth and evolution. Lean into the learning and celebrate your openness to grow. Yeah, this is the initiation rune. You are flowing into a new space of being. The commitment is definitely to yourself. I hear that really loud and clear. Now this is interesting. 3 cards leapt out, and I'm going to use them all. The bigger picture. Stand your ground. Intention. And we'll draw one more. The bigger picture. Sometimes, particularly during times of accelerated growth, we feel confused and overwhelmed, unable to see the woods for the trees. This card asks you to stand back and to see the bigger picture. Everything is happening just as it should, and you will soon regain clarity. Stand your ground. This card brings a clear message, whether in pragmatic action or in holding firm to your own principles and to your own opinions. Whatever your situation, do not give way. This is not a time to back down. The time is right to hold your own and stand your ground. Absolutely, your commitment to yourself is being tested. Nothing is yet set in stone. It's almost as though there's some aspect of the shoulds and shouldn'ts is still lingering, or someone puts it to the test, or it's just that you're coming to the completion of this process of growth in which you understand your own entitlement. But it's your ability to hold those boundaries with love that actually allows you to begin to set intentions. Now, this is interesting. Intention. Intention is a focused thought. Prayer is a focused thought. Worry is also a focused thought. Notice the predominant thoughts that you hold in your mind, because these are actually sending a request into the universe. If necessary, consciously make adjustments to your thinking patterns. Very powerful messages. We'll draw one more. I should say, guys, it's an exciting month for these cards because the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards are actually my own cards, and at the moment this is the only pack in existence, but they go live in January. And at different times in my world, and I think it's probably true for all of us, I have really needed quite specific, clear guidance. Every one of these messages is a message that was at some point given to me, either channeled or in meditation or in a sitting or through some sign or symbol. And I made a note of all of those messages. I journal, and these cards are effectively a set of messages that give very clear guidance. And it was my desire to bring them into the world. I also heard that in a meditation to be shared, because I think sometimes we need help with clarity, or certainly I have. You know, I could remember every situation that instigated these messages for me. So guys, big, exciting time in January, because they go live. It's a limited first edition, and I will hold some packs back. And as well as offering a free private reading, I will also hold some packs back during January, and at the end of January, beginning of February, I will draw names from a hat and send some to some of you guys, just as a way of thank you, because this is such an amazing community, really, I feel. It's lovely just to share. Okay, and we have the card of compromise. This is really interesting, guys. Some of you are really needing to hold your own in some way. Are you in a situation where you need to make a compromise, or are you compromising too much? This card asks you to review your position and be sure to find a solution that takes the needs of all parties into account, including yourself. It feels like a phase is coming to an end. You are entering a new phase, without question. You've been doing the work. Guys, you've really been working hard. It's kind of like, and this is the energy of this wonderful angel, it heightens intuition but grounds it and offers protection at the same time. It connects you to the base chakra. It's about making things real, the planet of Mars, the spiritual warrior energy, walking that pathway, knowing that you have the right and entitlement to stand your ground and be taken into account on equal terms, okay? That's the flavour of the month. Guys, the time is ready, and the energy is with you. The work you have been doing comes to some kind of a completion. There's an initiation. It's a wobble for some of you guys because it's new. It's just something that you're not familiar with. I'm even hearing another message in terms of new relationships as well. When we enter new relationships, and it's a human thing, we all do it, it's like we automatically slide back into our old patterns where we think about, if you've been through the the selfless indoctrination of stuff, then the instinct as soon as we meet someone is to worry about trying to please them, and we go through insecurities. New relationships are renowned for raising any insecurities, and the old ones. Again, guys, override those. Leave those behind. Step up. Stand your ground. Be you. Set intentions that are about the things you desire rather than worrying that things might go wrong. Such a sign of past insecurities. But this is a major month, I feel, of consolidation, where there is opportunity. As you consolidate, it allows the universe to bring the energy that helps you to flow into a new space of being. And guys, whatever is surfacing, reflect, review it, take it into account, thank it for the lessons it's brought you, and move beyond where needed. So Libra rising, Moon in Libra, anyone cross-watching, guys, so much love to you. I wish you an amazing January, and I really look forward to seeing you for some of the other readings, perhaps the big monthlies for February, or maybe and yeah, keep a lookout for the announcements for any kind of different things that I'm doing or free stuff that I'm putting out there. So much love to you guys.